They're getting piled on. The crowd is like, who's going to come out? Like, this is my favorite thing because as a wrestling fan, you know, like, oh, someone's coming out. Someone's like the excitement of the trope. What better way for him to return? We've done it now. Another edition of Tales from the Attitude Era. We've done it now.
But have we? We haven't done it yet. We're doing it now.
We're about to do it. You're right. Yeah. Well, welcome to Tales from the Attitude Era. You're all canned up for this British Columbia episode.
Yes.
We are reviewing the Monday Night Raw, the WWF Monday Night Raw from May 29th, 2000, Memorial Day 2000, in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Nice.
It's Rob Pasbani here from thestunner.com, joined as always by former WWF writer Tommy Blacha. Get the F in.
Get the F in. Yeah.
And it is funny that you're spending Memorial Day in Canada. And this was a time when I feel like the Canadian crowds were hot. They were some of the hotter crowds. Like the only hotter crowds would be in New York City or the Rosemont Horizon, I feel, compared to these guys.
And also another element is, you know, like I said, you'd always try to stay around the Northeast just for production friendliness, but then you'd stretch out in so many cities, even though they had house shows all the time, they were starved for a TV, for a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown. Yeah. So you might be like, oh, whatever, Vancouver's had plenty of house shows, but they haven't had a Monday Night Raw in, 2 years or something. You know what I mean?
It's a different vibe for sure, especially back then. Like now it's a slog, but back then it was a very exciting 2 hours of television. And like the crowd was hot for it. You could feel like they wanted to participate in the show.
Yeah, and even like the previous podcast, Evansville, Indiana, that was a lot of like taken into account. We're like, oh, just hit these spots that never get it, and the crowds will be huge, because sometimes that still was the the vibe to be like that hot live crowd. And even some of these smaller venues that might be 6, 7, 10,000, like Evansville or somewhere, they're just explosive. These crowds are so hot, and it matters, and it really helped the brand.
We're at the General Motors Place in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's just a place, not an arena, not a garden.
No, just a place.
It's a place.
Yeah.
$14,530 paying over $500,000, $514,000.
Ooh.
Quite a house.
Is that Canadian dollars?
Oh, I'm not sure. That I'm not. This is from the Wrestling Observer.
Is that fucking loons or fucking dollars?
How was it? How is the commute to get to British Columbia? Because not only are you crossing border, you're also in the Pacific time zone. This is quite a journey.
Oh, it's fine. It's fun. It was fun to go out there. So,
did you like doing the shows in Canada? Was it a different vibe?
Yeah, crowds were hot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Canadian-phile. I grew up in Detroit, so I'm a
you're practically Canadian.
I'm practically Canadian, but it was good. And customs, a little pain, but whatever. The beginning probably be more of a slog at the end, but whatever. But there was a guy, Carl DeMarco, used to be the chairman of WWF Canada, or the CEO of WWF Canada, and formerly like Bret Hart's manager. He told some funny stories of like back in the day when, now I think it was wrestling made so much money for Canada and what have you. But back in the day, sometimes like I guess the customs used to be a pain in the ass of getting wrestlers in. And also wrestlers have a lot of checkered pasts. And he said there was some big, way back in the day in Toronto, some huge show, and the customs were being bad. And so they used to have a whole team of immigration lawyers there that used to come in with the WWF, and they would have a big side room at the airport, like, all ready to like deal with this, like kind of to combat. And it was like customs officials versus immigration lawyers to get these guys through. And it was like, but it didn't seem to have any problems here. But, the Canadian customs could be like a pain, but,
I didn't even consider that. That's right.
Yeah.
Some of these wrestlers are bad dudes.
Yeah.
So that could be troublesome. I know, that's why now Jeff Hardy can't really do international dates because of his previous drug arrests. So.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also WWE in particular has grown into such a powerhouse and have such good contacts with these governments and are probably bringing so much money into the economies that they're able to overturn some of these. Like I believe Jay Uso or maybe Jimmy Uso, one of the Usos, they have a DUI arrest and they typically can't leave the country, but then they had a pay-per-view in Toronto and he got in no problem. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works. Because I know sometimes the customs, even though like, the government's all like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, business, but customs, sometimes we don't listen to that. So who knows?
Well, let's get into it. Like I said, I feel like we're now on the road to King of the Ring. There was a bunch of qualifying matches at this time. And I'm curious, with the qualifying matches, do you remember, was the tournament laid out at all? Like, do you have the brackets at this point, or you're just kind of figuring out as you go along?
No. Yeah. Well, again, the answer, and I knew some of this would come up for even the lumberjack match. Everything is like, everything's in pencil, put it that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So sure, the brackets are laid out. Doesn't mean that anything's set in stone. And that was part of the fun of this time, and the horror of this time is like, it's a weird dynamic where it's like we should have long-term thinking and things locked in, but then that would never happen. And that's sometimes a problem to, if the machine isn't able to just change on a moment's notice. So does that answer it?
Yeah. No. I mean, it's an answer, but I was just curious if maybe you were like huddled up over the weekend in Stanford coming up with brackets, like who's in the tournament, who's not.
Sure. You're huddled up all the time coming up with all kinds of things that might just turn into scrap paper or they might be either the Bible or scrap paper. You never know.
Do you have any of these yellow pads around anymore?
No.
That would be great.
Yeah. In fact, back in the day, there was still the weird ethos of like, because we wouldn't print a lot of stuff out, but it was starting to more and more. But there would be a printout for like the production meeting. It's just like a rundown. So it would look like a script, but it would just have the matches, and you might have some bullet points of like, this happens. We show a video package that, shows the Rock's, here to give bullet points to the announcers or whatever. Most people like writing stuff down. But at the end of the shows, there was still like, you'd tear them up, in like Vince's office or something and throw them out. It's like, don't let those get out. Not like it even really mattered. But there was something like the stress sometimes of those shows. There was something very satisfying about just shredding them, because they're so like, you're following them like, oh, what's going on? And then once the show's ended, doesn't matter. They become like powerless. Like they have the power over you, and then they're powerless. So, I
mean, I feel like even now, very rarely does a script leak, and it's more of a format.
Yeah.
And I remember actually like a few years ago, a script leaked. I want to say within the last 5 years, and I went back and I watched the show, reading along to the format, and I was blown away at how the promos were word for word what was in the script, like word for word. Even stuff that I was like, oh, surely this was improv, but no, it wasn't. So, but again, this was now like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. That's so weird. That brings up so much more tension, I think, because we'd have like, there's a line or a something, or sell the pay-per-view, or you know what I mean, or like this is an important bullet point, and and that's when sometimes you feel like you're watching like a acting class or something, and this is like their second run through, because when you're, you know what I mean, especially when there's we've got 3 lines to go back and forth with each other. That's when you get into real dangerous territory, because then it's like the timing is weird, and it's not like up to the wrestlers off the cuff to just be like, we're just going to be in each other's face, and you fumble, I'm going to talk over you, or we're just improvising, getting into a fight or something. It's like when you watch like SNL, for instance, and you might see someone like look for the cue cards, or and not find them for a second, and it takes the momentum out, and you'd be like, oh, there goes the whole momentum of the sketch is funky because the back and forth is like weird. And that happens in wrestling. And that's kind of the stuff I loved about wrestling, that wouldn't happen back in the day. You know what I mean? If like, I've seen like Harley Race, like mushing his words and the announcer like say something and like, then he'd immediately like, shut up, and there would be like that real tension. And it didn't matter that Harley Race was like fumbling with, it was like, oh God, it was like a real guy. Or if you saw like a real guy in a bar fight, starting to argue with someone, it wouldn't matter that like, I didn't really understand what he said. You'd get the real vibe of two guys arguing or something. All those weird cracks and strange things kind of like get weeded out and makes it less fun for me.
Well, yeah, I think that's a big part of why the Attitude Era worked, is it felt so much more natural. Like, even like you said, if someone flubbed their line, someone else would just carry it.
Yeah.
Pick up the. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. The show starts with Undertaker kicking it off, and once again, I must say I'm loving this this entrance theme. I realize now that he's actually after the licenses run up on Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock, and then he makes that heel turn as the what Ross would call Booger Red version of Undertaker, where he cut his hair. He uses this theme as well, which I was like, how am I so familiar with the words to the song if you only use it for a few weeks? But that's why. But Undertaker looks so great here. He looks completely rejuvenated. He looks so tough and scary. And like it's like, oh, a top guy is back in WWE. It's very exciting. Yeah.
And sometimes you even forget, right? Or maybe you don't, that like, oh yeah, this cat is 6'9", 6'10".
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes
in fact,
out
I'll just say this, one of the greatest live things to see is when he does that over the top rope with his arms.
Oh yeah. The suicide dive.
You see plenty of like smaller guys do that. And, down in Mexico City, like, oh, they did it 40 times in one show, but live, even from the rafters, when you see him do that, and you just get that feeling like, oh, he could catch his feet on the last rope and go, and it just seems so dangerous. And it's weirdly breathtaking. It's relatively simple, I guess, in the sense, but with his arms and his length, when he does that, it's really like a really breathtaking thing. And live much more so than on TV. It's one of those things that's much bigger live.
Oh, and I think a big part of it is, like you said, it's because he's going over the top rope. Typically with the topes, they go in between the top and middle rope. So It's insane. So Big Pop and Undertaker's in the ring, and he's about to say his first syllable. He can't even get a word out. And we hear "My Time Is Now," the Triple H pre-Motorhead entrance theme. And Jim Ross says, well, it's the entire McMahon-Helmsley regime all night. Jim is referring to the group as the McMahon-Helmsley regime. And yet the graphic department still haven't gotten the memo, because the graphic says McMahon-Helmsley Faction. Still haven't settled on a name for the group yet.
Yeah. And while you might think that is some kind of power struggle, I just remember it's just one of those cases where there's such a mad scramble all the time. It just gets lost in the shuffle, I think. Because I was never a fan of saying faction. Regime is fine. And then, sometimes there's the studio back there and someone said, maybe Kevin Dunn, I like faction. And then it was put in the graphics, but you know what I mean? It's not like I don't care that it says faction. I'm going to say regime. I don't really think it was that. It was just like, what is it again? And who knows? And then these decrees, like I've said, I've been in situations where like the poor superstar, a wrestler might say like, oh, I'm going to say belt, where you have to be like, don't say belt. Huh? Vince hates belt. He does? Who the fuck? Why? I don't know. I just know he does. But there was no memo, or there's no decrees. There probably are more now. Like, these are things to not say or do, but
yeah.
So there's those weird quirks that like poor fuckers would be like, I'm in the doghouse. Why? Because I did a great promo, but I'm like, we're going to get the belts and make this gesture. And Vince, God damn it, I hate that. oh, fuck, I buried myself. What? I didn't know. So why did you say regime? What? I don't, fuck.
Much like I found that script a few years ago, there was like a PDF going around, like a whole one sheet of forbidden phrases that were like, don't say this, say this. You know, like, don't say wrestler, say performer or competitor or whatever. And like,
they're in a wrestling match. They're not in a wrestling match. They're in a superstar competition.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck.
It's so weird.
But isn't it World Wrestling? Why isn't it WSE, World Superstar? He should have changed it to the WSF, World Superstar Federation. Fuck. Oh well.
Or just WEF, the World Entertainment Federation.
Ooh.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Hey, arguably it's better than, I still am weirded out by WWE.
Yeah.
The World Wrestling Entertainment.
It's such a pet peeve when people say the WWE. Yeah.
Yeah. The World Wrestling Entertainment. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first noticed it with WCW because it's World Championship Wrestling. And I'm here in the WCW to take my goal. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm here in the World Championship Wrestling. Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, so the faction comes out. And Triple H is continuing this narrative that Undertaker cost The Rock the title. He says he wants to express how great it is to have the one true American badass back in the WWF. Welcome home. Nobody is happier than me, says Triple H. You've done me a huge favor. I was going to kick The Rock's ass all myself, but you did my job for me. So once again, I thank you. Undertaker says, you need to thank me for not coming down there and kicking your ass. Woo, big pop. Woo. I don't do anything for anyone but myself. Any chance I have to slap any one of you assholes, I'll take it. One more thing. That belt on your shoulder, it belongs to me.
That championship.
And then Triple H, the championship belongs to me. Right. That's not a belt. Oh, my goodness. I think he did call it a belt, though. Things have changed.
Well, that's different, though.
Yeah, Undertaker's allowed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Vince gave him a stern talking down to when they got the back. I doubt that.
Yes.
Triple H says, things have changed. When you run your mouth around here, we close it. The only way you're getting this belt is if I shove it down your throat. I just have to deliver every promo as Vince.
Yeah.
They circle the ring. DX circles the ring. It looks like Undertaker's in trouble. And The Rock comes out to a huge reaction. How often do I say that? As he's about to talk, Vince interrupts. He says, I see what's happening. It's the buddy system. 1 week you save him. 1 week you save him. You're all friends. And then Rock just interrupts and has some line about how Shane scratches your ass, Triple H scratches your balls, and you lick a monkey's ass. And whatever he said, just his pattern was so fast that people couldn't even process what he said and just were like, oh, hell yeah, I love The Rock. Like a big pop.
Of course, yeah.
He insults Stephanie, calls her a $2 walking slut. Stephanie really has it the worst, I feel, with this stuff, especially this week. Crowd is eating it up. And Vince says, well, we have two guys who want to be champions. So tonight we're not going to have a championship match. Instead, Undertaker will go 1-on-1 with The Rock. This is a big main event, I feel like, which again, 2 weeks in a row you didn't deliver on, but still it sounds awesome. And the stage is set for a really cool main event and a very cool ongoing storyline throughout the show that I enjoyed. Godfather is out next. And he's out with Dean Malenko and the Cat. And it's crazy because the Cat hasn't been on TV since the last pay-per-view. I feel like once her and Tori had that stinker of a match. In general, it's very interesting to me that in this moment, in the last few months, I feel like there's been a lot of start-stops with mid-card people. Like you try something, it's not happening. You kind of put the toy away for a few weeks and then you try again a few weeks later. Did you notice that as well at the time, or?
Sure.
And like,
yes.
for example, with Kat here, like, how does this work? Like, oh, we should get her on TV. We should change. Cause I mean, I guess you've already done this tag match on Heat the night before. So you just thought like, let's do something different. Let's bring Kat in here. Like, how do you plug these people in?
Well, I wish I had a better answer for you. Don't remember. But sometimes if they were, like I said, sometimes it'd be like a holdover from, they did something at a house show, or it was a suggestion, or like you said, did some on Heat. Oh, they're ready to go with something. And then also sometimes, if someone's also, frankly, traveling with the roster, put them in again. So, it's not always like we should get them back in there. Oh yeah, what are they doing? Okay. Because sometimes that's just a mentality too, that like, you don't want to burn something out, even if they're good or people like them, to be like, just a different thing, That's true. Yeah. And of course, Kat was on the road. She was dating Jerry Lawler at the time. And Terri was on the road as well, not dating anyone as far as I know. Yeah.
But so I can see why you'd want to plug them in. They get good pops.
Yeah. What do? They're just sitting around.
Godfather's out with Kat and Malenko. And then Lawler quips, look at all of these Canadian hoes. I think they only cost 70% of what they do in the States.
Nice.
And then JR quips, I guess Dean is a Malenko now.
Oof. Oof.
Terri's out with Saturn and D'Lo. D'Lo and Malenko start the match, and this is some graps. This is some pro graps here.
Yep.
Very fun exchanges to kick things off. Eventually, Terri and Kat are tagged in. Terri tags out to Saturn. Saturn grabs Kat by the trunks. Just good borderline assault here in this mixed tag, but eventually Malenko cuts him off.
Going to be assault in a mixed tag match.
The genders should not be facing each other.
Well, that's a separate issue.
Saturn,
but within the match, it's not assault.
Once Saturn is in, he is not allowed to touch Kat. He is supposed to let her leave the ring, and a male competitor is supposed to enter.
Is that true? Is that the rules of this match?
For a mixed tag, yeah. For an intergender, no. This wasn't an intergender match. This was a mixed tag match, I think.
All right. I didn't realize that was in the rule book. Oddly enough, even with my background and whatever, I've never seen a WWF rule book.
Vince doesn't slap it on your desk your first day at the office.
Yeah, like a match guideline, or
I think,
what the refs. I've never seen.
A few years ago, I believe they released an encyclopedia of WWF, and I believe in that there may have been the official rule.
A lot of I believes and may have beens in that description there.
Well, it's not like I bought the book. Come on. I was in a Barnes & Noble once. I
but I mean, and Major League Baseball, NFL.
There's an actual rule book?
Sure. Yeah.
There should be a PDF you could download.
Copious one. Yeah, I'm sure.
But anyway, so there was a We Want Puppies chant. I find myself doing the Lawler so much in like real life now. like anytime I'm a little clumsy, so sometimes I'll like fuss with something and drop it, and it's and no one understands what's going on.
Yeah, it's I do that, and then it's also the JD Harmeyer. They're similar. If people know what that is,
I'm not familiar with JD.
JD Harmeyer's staffer on Howard Stern, who.
Yeah. Just JD. I didn't know he hoops.
Yeah, he hoops, and he hoops like an owl, and he laughs, and then there's a drop where he's always.
He's the main wrestling fan of the show on Howard Stern. He's always telling him about wrestling.
Yeah, that and Eric the actor, rest in peace.
There was a previous JD, I feel like in the late 90s, who was more of like a hunk type. I feel that Stern always made fun of because he looked like a gay porn star or something like that. Or was his name not JD?
No, that was Casey.
Oh, Casey. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Back on track.
Anyway, this isn't Tales from the Howard Stern era. So the match ends when Malenko's put in a position where Saturn hits an elbow drop, clean finish. Even though there's a lot of commotion. A lot of commotion in the tag matches in this episode. Like, it wasn't just like a clean 1-2.
Well,
then in an excellent show-long storyline, Edge and Christian are backstage with Kevin Kelly, who they asked to take a Polaroid for them. And Joe C walks by again. Joe C was, of course, Kid Rock's hype man at the time. And for those younger who don't remember such a thing, like this, Joe C was kind of a big deal, like especially for my generation, like people my age, like we all knew who Joe C was. And Kid Rock was pretty big. He was like one of the biggest rock artists of the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I knew people that knew Joe C, and Joe C is a Detroiter, as am I. And so I knew him when was pals with him a little bit. And he sadly died like half a year after this.
Yeah, shortly after this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and he is a little person, as you could see in the footage. And so he walks by. Edge and Christian ask for a photo and say they're big fans. And Joe C's like, sure. And as they take the photo, Christian puts a pinky to his mouth, imitating Dr. Evil, which was the hot movie at the time.
Yeah.
And Edge goes, we love Mini-Me. Austin Powers was great. Joe C's like, I'm Joe C. I'm not Mini-Me. And they're like, oh, don't be bashful. That's the segment. After the break, Edge and Christian are enjoying the Polaroid photo that they had just taken. And Angle walks by and they try to show him the photo. And he says something that's so stupid that it made me like bust out laughing. He goes, guys, there's no one who likes posing for photos more than me. But I need to focus on the European gold. Such a stupid random line.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love Kurt Angle right now.
Oh, he's the best. That smile. I just really got to take a moment again. He's just the absolute best. I'm still marveling because he's just such a goofball. And to think of like, he was the Olympic gold medalist, badass. He used to get heat from legitimate, like, amateur wrestling people were like, how dare you demean the Olympic gold and do all this? And he's just like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I'll beat your ass. And I'm being a goofball and I'm delivering these lines. And sometimes you forget because he's like, holy shit, he's like such straight up comedy. But it's great because you're just like a booker's dream to be like, yeah, have him lose, have him goofy. And then at any given moment, like that runs out, like turn on the heat, let him win everything. He's got like locker room respect and he's legitimate and 5-tool player.
Like, to your point, he's like one of the toughest guys in the locker room, basically. Like,
yeah,
he's not losing in a fight. You know, if someone steps to him, no one can really step to him. Like, who could step to him? Undertaker, maybe, but even then,
I wouldn't even say it because actually those tall guys are at a disadvantage against like
right. Yeah, he just does a double leg or a single leg, and Undertaker's fucked.
Yeah.
No, so that's great. And then so Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the European title, quite a dream match. Future WrestleMania main event we're witnessing here. One of the main events of WrestleMania 20. And Angle with an amazing promo here. Like this is, you were talking a few weeks ago about good cheap heat. This is great cheap heat. This is so good how he hit all the notes. He goes, Canada is lacking two things. The first is Olympic heroes. And no, Ben Johnson doesn't count. Was that, I might have gotten the name wrong, but like,
Ben Johnson was, he was like an unbelievable sprinter and just like gas to the gills. And, you know, and the 100 meter, 50 meter, those are like, you know, those are big. It's like Usain Bolt territory. It's like that's highly coveted medal. And then out of Canada, it's like he would just destroy everyone and just burst out of the blocks. And then in that era was like quickly, like he went from hero to bad guy just because like, oh, he failed all the PDF tests, PED tests.
Yes.
Miserably. So that was this era. So perfect timing.
Yeah.
Mwah. Chef's kiss, Kurt Angle.
And the crowd turns and he goes, so it's my duty as your American hero to be your North American hero. He says, it's Memorial Day in the States, and we in the States like to celebrate our war heroes by barbecuing. You can't barbecue in Canada because you'll be attacked by a moose. The crowd didn't like this. Like, why we barbecue?
Yeah.
You'll be attacked by a moose, a caribou, or a grizzly. And then this line really popped me. On second thought, the Grizzlies don't beat anyone in Vancouver or anywhere else. And for non-sports fans, the basketball team at the time was the Vancouver Grizzlies. I believe they're in Memphis now.
Yes.
They're the Memphis Grizzlies now. But
yeah,
one of the best logos in basketball. I really wanted to expansion teams.
Yeah.
I was really excited. Them and the Raptors. The Raptors old school purple jerseys look so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I always hated to, like, why didn't they change their name when they went to Memphis? So Grizzlies in Memphis.
Yeah. Be like the Memphis Rhythm and Blues or something like that.
Or something.
The Memphis Baritones.
Yeah. Fabulous. You know, and we're talking about cheap heat. I think cheap heat gets the phrase comes from someone being like, "Oh, I'm going to get some heat. I don't normally do this." But with Kurt Angle, you're looking for this kind of every time he goes, every city he goes, it's part of the makeup. So it's not really like cheap heat in that sense. Like, oh, you didn't have anything, so you went there. This is, just a huge part of his gimmick. That's a good point.
I think that's what really defines cheap heat is that you just don't have anything. So you're just like, well, your city sucks.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
right.
This is, I would argue, this isn't cheap. Like he really did work for this.
Yeah. And Edge and Christian match that too. You're looking for them to bring that kind of like cheap heat, so.
Immediately a US sucks chant. I don't think I remember hearing this. But I love that he got the crowd so riled up that they turned on a whole country.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in general, one of my favorite things of this era was just the rivalry between US and Canada.
Oh, I love it. Love it so much.
It's so fun.
Well, it's still a holdover from all the Bret Hart stuff, which was one of the most amazing things ever. Remember when that whole thing peaked where Bret Hart I've never experienced that, where it's like he's a complete superhero in Canada and a heel in America.
I love that. That was like the first time that wrestling truly felt like real sports, like with the New York-Chicago rivalry, for example, where it's like, game 1 is in New York and everyone's cheering for New York. Game 2 is in Chicago. Everyone's cheering for Chicago. It's awesome.
It was huge. And especially that Canada, I always tease my Canadian friends. It's like, oh, you guys are just as nationalistic as anyone, you go up to Canada, Maple Leaf, everything, it's just as nauseating as America. No problem, but that was just like absolutely amazing. And then his great promo. Well, at least here we've got, we take care of our old and our sick. And national health care stuff and all that. Oh, it's just brilliant. It's still, this is still the heat is from that still in this very show. Yeah.
It's great. They have a great match. They start with some really fun freestyle wrestling. At one point, Eddie's on the outside and Chyna's checking in on him. Angle does a baseball slide and hits Chyna. And the announcers question if that was meant for Eddie or he intentionally hit Chyna. Chyna's not going to sit around wondering. She gets on the apron. She's pissed. She enters the ring. The ref gets knocked down. Angle places Eddie on the top rope for a superplex. Chyna walks over, low blows Angle. And then Angle falls off. He gets in position. And this is where you could really see that Angle is still a little new because he did a terrible job. And I say this with all due respect, basing for Eddie Guerrero for this Huracan Rana for like 1 second off, and Guerrero would have landed right on his neck. But Guerrero is a pro. He knew how to, maneuver his body, and he made it look fine. But it for half a second, it looked very scary. Anyway, Eddie Guerrero gets the win. Jim Ross says Angle's foot was under the rope, perhaps extending the storyline further. But Chyna is elated as her and Eddie celebrate. And I think Chyna looked great tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly good.
And she's huge at this time,
Yeah.
She's a big star.
Backstage, Edge and Christian run into Josie again, and they apologized. They just learned who he was and wanted to do a 5-second pose with him. They just wanted to know to be sure. Are you a midget? No, he's a dwarf, says Christian. No, he's an Ewok. And then Josie just tells them to go F themselves, which gets bleeped. Good little bit.
Yeah.
Backstage, Road Dogg walks past a room and he hears somebody's locked in the room, but he checks in gets pulled into this dark room and beat up. The ongoing show storyline, which I really enjoyed.
And this goes back to what has gone away from a bit here and there. Maybe I just freak out on all the time. The unmotivated camera, just like it's a movie, just like what, you're just picking up some action. It's just always like, doesn't matter. There's so many things when you really break it down that kind of don't make sense, but doesn't matter. It's like we have announcers.
Because it's like, is there just a camera following every wrestler around backstage?
It's more like the more you explain it, the more trouble you get in.
Right.
Because it's even, like I said, some secret stuff has happened, but the announcers are commenting on it. that wrestlers would need to know or whatever. It's a mess, and it's a wonderful mess. I just love that it works. It's just like it just evolved naturally to the pace of shows. Yeah, it's like, huh?
Edge and Christian enter. They have props. Greetings, fellow Canadians. A light cheer. We realize that British Columbia is so not the brightest province in the country. Booze. Joe C is an overrated midget rapper, so we're going to do a special pose, kicking it Joe C style. They put some shoes under their knees and get on their knees to indicate they're short, and then they do a little pose for some heat. Too cool or challenging. They're so over. The crowd is so hot for them. I'm watching this thinking like, man, Too Cool should get the titles right here. Like this is the perfect opportunity. Like they've earned it in terms of getting over with the crowd. They get the loudest pops of all the tag teams. And I'm just like, but WWE doesn't do that kind of stuff. And plus, I know that at SummerSlam is the big TLC match. So I'm like, I guess Edge and Christian are just retaining, but man, this would have been the night.
This would have been the night.
This would have been the night to give Too Cool the titles. It's the perfect moment, the perfect crescendo. But then my smartness.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what's so fun. My smartness. Yeah, is tingling. Yeah. So you would categorize them. So you wouldn't necessarily categorize them as a comedy tag team because they have abilities. But how would you categorize them as an entertainment first?
They're kind of I think individually, they're both fully capable pro wrestlers. Like,
right.
And they've, each of them, I'm sure, had a decade of experience. But the act itself is like a few notes. There's the worm, there's the silly day. It's a bit of a gimmick. It's more entertainment than sport.
So let me ask you, like, who in the WWF previous to this, what tag teams would you have considered that were more on the entertainment side that won the titles? Maybe you're right. I can't think of it. Rhythm and Blues.
Were they champions? Were they tag champions?
They were champions at one time.
Okay.
Or was
the Bushwhackers never won.
Wait.
No, I would say the Too Cool are more capable than Bushwhackers, but I do think there's similarity in the idea that they're just there to appease the crowd and get them hyped up to start the show. Like they would have never won the titles.
Right.
I'm trying to think like what other silly teams are there, but also on the other end is of all the belts, you're the least precious with the tag titles. Like in terms of like they can be bounced around, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I just was not expecting the title shot. Like I was genuinely shocked. But again, I thought it was done so well. I thought it really, really climaxed to get the crowd hyped.
Yes. And you know what's fun about doing this podcast years later, I always try to tell you or whoever that it's just not that much thought goes into it. At the time it's all about like, don't be a mark for it. It just really just comes out of like, yeah, how about a change, and everyone, no one, it's part of the ethos. Like Edge and Christian would never be like, what the hell? We were champions that long. No one ever would do that. Because that's like the locker room was tight, and you're taught like you're never a mark for the belt, and so it just was one of those things like, how about it? You know, see
And
that
plus,
work?
you had Joe C there.
Yeah,
He cost him the match, so you can get a little, maybe like some MTV play out of it.
sure.
Like there was a crossover element to it too. I think that made it make sense.
And usually that's in the post-mortem. It's never like, hey, this is a reason. Oh, yeah, this is why that worked, or this is why that didn't, or whatever. Just always trying to, I'm always trying to bring up the fact that like the pace is so relentless. There's so many in you're landing in Vancouver. How about this, that, here it is. Oh, yellow pad here. Okay, go. And it all works out. And then now years later, yeah, I think we really nailed that. Oh, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is great. So crowd is super hot for this match, and they're particularly hot for Too Cool's offense. They love the worm. They love all the comebacks. Eventually, Rikishi and Joe C come out to watch, and Rikishi distracts the ref, and Joe C gets in the ring. He has a hockey stick and low blows Christian with the hockey stick. It looked like it kind of hurt. And the belts were in the ring because Edge and Christian were trying to cheat. Grandmaster Sexy grabs a belt, gives Christian a belt shot after the low blow, goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what? We have new champions.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Crowd loves it. Crowd loves the dancing. I want to read how Dave Meltzer reviewed this moment. Joe C dances with the Too Cool, and he goes in response to that.
Huge.
Meltzer goes, "It was annoying as hell." There's nothing worse on wrestling than a third-rate celebrity being put on a show and having the wrestlers mark out for him like they're a big star. Did anybody mark out for Joe C? I don't think they did. Edge and Christian kind of mocked him, and Too Cool are just friends with him.
Yeah,
No
and
one's, like, marking
also
him.
people don't realize that in that zeitgeist realm, if you will, of wrestling, Kid Rock, MTV at that time, he was huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It fit perfectly.
For the demo. Everyone in the demo knew.
Yeah. And also like just the weirdness of him and being a hype man and that he cost the match. I totally disagree with him. It was just huge.
Yeah.
Worked well.
And it was just a great moment and the absolute right time to put the titles on them. And why can't they have like a 3-week reign or whatever? They lose it back at the pay-per-view. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. But I will say though, Edge and Christian do really need the titles in this moment. Like as they're establishing these new heel characters, them not having the titles makes them a little less credible. So I don't think this should be
Does it?
A long reign. I think so because it's like they're still smart. Like that's their gimmick is they might not be the best wrestlers, but they're the smartest ones because they can leave with the gold.
Well, and I guess it's also like how you play it. If they're really like, you know, maybe they could find something new. If they find an Edge trying to get it back, you know, will they become more vicious heels? You know what I mean? As you're always looking to, you know, not just stagnate. You know, it's all about how it's like played out. You know, so I'm, you know, I'm always a devil's advocate when it comes to like the titles are needed. You know, that's really.
I mean,
not
they are
what,
props, sure.
Yeah,
like I'm not above saying that, but I think they
this
need
argument
those props.
Can never go anywhere. Rob, you're wrong. 20 years ago, they didn't need him at this moment. I say they did.
Fair.
One thing that was interesting is when you use the title to ram someone in the head, it's called a belt shot, right?
Mm-hmm. Not a championship shot.
Right.
Or a title shot.
Interesting. What about that, Vince? We should have had that today. What are we going to call it? Can't call it a belt shot?
I guess he hits him with the championship. You could say, maybe he would.
Boo. Yeah. And you can't call it a title shot because title shot's different.
Yeah. And he doesn't even like that phrase.
Yeah. Boo.
It's a championship opportunity.
He hits him with the championship.
Yeah.
Boo. He hits him with the belt. Maybe that should be in the PDF. The championship will never be referred to as a belt unless it is used in a nefarious way to hit another wrestler, in which case they are hit with the belt. Other than that, it is not a belt. Glad we've worked that out. Whew.
Backstage, Vince tells Stephanie there will be another big surprise tonight. Lights go out. Vince is attacked. He's bleeding. Who's doing this? Come on, Undertaker. I feel like that, like the show wants you to think it's Undertaker doing these attacks, which I think is such a great red herring as to who it
Yeah.
is.
Well, but also kind of Austin-esque, isn't it?
It's true. It's true.
I believe at some point there was an Austin chant.
Yeah, there was at the end of the show.
People are saying it's Austin. Yeah. So
Yeah. That's true. Backstage, they do the Rikishi squat shot where you zoom in on his butt. We learn he has a King of the Ring qualifying match against Shane O'Mac coming up next. And then after the break, Shane gets in the ring. He gets a little mic time. Rikishi, I'm sure you see by now why I'm such an unbelievable thriller, because who would want to face the Giant Killer? He's stealing Road Dogg's gimmick with these rhymes. So he gets a promo on Rikishi.
Yeah. I think rhyming is a time-honored gimmick.
Okay.
What about Lanny? What about the genius, Leaping Lanny Popovo?
Well, I would argue Road Dogg stole his gimmick.
Yeah. Well, remember you would read poems and
I loved it. Yeah,
off of frisbees and throw them into
in the ring.
Yeah,
throw them into the crowd.
Yeah,
I'm sure I learned a bunch of big words as a kid from Leaping Lanny Popovo, just from those. Rikishi comes out. As soon as he gets in the ring, Shane just hits him with the punches. Rikishi pushes him off, has punches of his own. Immediately, a Shane's a pussy chant. Shane is over. I mean, everyone's over.
Yeah.
This is the Attitude Era. Almost instantly, Triple H comes out, boos, gets on the apron, distracts Rikishi. Shane does a low blow, takes the heat, knocks down Rikishi. Rikishi fights back. All of a sudden, Triple H just gets in the ring. Rikishi stops him, is knocking him out. No bell call or anything for a wrestler getting in the ring, because technically he hasn't attacked anyone yet.
Right.
He's being attacked. And then Rikishi eventually positions Triple H into the corner for the stink face. And just as he's about to embarrass Triple H, Shane flies in with one of his incredible chair shots, causing the DQ, allowing Rikishi to advance King of the Ring tournament. And then they just beat up Rikishi. And Shane does a fake pin. Then we have backstage, Stephanie McMahon. She's looking into a mirror, or as Vince McMahon calls it, a mirror. And she says, the McMahon-Helmsley regime is nothing but fair. And I gave you the opportunity to take out Chris Jericho, and you failed. The camera pans out, and it's Trish Stratus, Test Albert, and Val Venis, who I think that's good to pair him with these. Like, I think Val fits right in, and I think Trish could be like a good manager for him. And as we've been talking about, Val Venis has been kind of forgotten the last 6 months since you and Gewurz came in. So you've been trying to find
what is that supposed to mean?
You guys are homophobic. I don't know.
Wait, what does that mean?
No. You got to find room for everyone. No, but you are trying to plug him in. You've been trying to plug him in, and I
plug him in. What does that mean?
I'm gonna stop talking.
All Canadians, by the way. What do you think about this?
True.
Think about
Albert
this roster.
Canadian? I thought no. Albert is from
not Albert. But
yeah. Trish and Test. Yeah.
Trish and Test and Val Venis.
Yes.
And Edge and Christian. Big Canadian show.
Yeah. Well,
Benoit.
Stephanie says she knows that the Hardys interrupted TNA. We're talking about the heat that aired the night before. We talked about this on the last show. And so Stephanie says, I'll give you another chance tonight. Trish, I know you had your eye on Val. So tonight it's a 6-man. That's a good one sentence to explain why he's with them. Yeah. That's all you need. Val TNA versus Jericho and the Hardys. You guys better do it right, she says, because it's your last opportunity to redeem yourself. And she leaves. Tess then does like a mocking, like, bitch, which to me makes him seem like even more of a herb. We've been talking about this. Like say it to her face. Like, call her a bitch. You know, she wronged you. You're right. You know, don't be such a herb. But all right. quick recap of what happened on Heat, and then we have Jericho in the ring. He gets some mic time. Welcome to Raw is Jericho. Stephanie, you devoted so much time to me lately. Is it possible you have a crush on Y2J? Such a like middle school thing to say.
Yeah.
I love it. Maybe if you comb out that rat's nest of a hairstyle and buy a box of Clearasil, you can stop being a dirty, disgusting, brutal, skanky, bottom-feeding skank bag hoe. Maybe then you'll have a shot with the Ayatollah of rock and roll. Poor Stephanie, just getting it from all ends. Oh, what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
Hardys come out, Lita not with them. So not quite yet, I would say. And they have a match. And I have to say, I was really impressed. T and A have developed some really cool tandem power moves in their offense regime. They're looking good.
Regime or their offense faction?
The finishing sequence is just total bedlam. Everyone's in the ring, blah, 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 but the timing is excellent. Jeff is about to go to the top rope for a swanton bomb, and Trish gets on the apron and knocks him off. Matt tries to stop her, grab her by the hair, but Albert cuts him off, and he gets the win with the double-arm chokeslam or whatever he has. So they did finish the job. So
Yep.
Stephanie's not mad at them.
Also, two huge guys.
Big guy. Yeah. I was just thinking like in a different era, like it would have been so cool to see them against, for example, like the new Blackjacks, like them against Barry Windham and Bradshaw, or like, just like, or them against the Skyscrapers, Sid Justice and what's his name? Dan Spivey.
Yeah.
Like it would have, like that would have been really cool, but they never really pushed them like that. They never really gave TNA a qualifier, but they're getting really good. Like I have to say, I thought they were, as a kid, I didn't really pay attention to them. But watching it now week to week, you could really see, especially with Tess, like he's getting really good. It's a shame.
And to comment on that too, like you got to remember that this guy came out of, he's got to go through the growing pains, and even just politically, so to speak, because he kind of came in right, I want to say at the top, but kind of debuted quickly and was up there and fast. So, while you do say maybe rightfully so, like, oh, he's being herbed out here and there, sometimes people just got to like hang around for a while. And then at a certain time, like,
especially this time in WWF. Yeah, I feel like that was the modus operandi, or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
Where like you really have to eat shit for like 3 or 4 years, and then they're like, all right, we could trust you. Now we're going to give you a sustained push.
I mean, it's all case by case. Certainly they didn't, Jericho a little bit, but not quite that long. Kurt Angle, not at all. That's a totally different, set of circumstances.
I mean, Jericho came in 98 and he didn't win the title until like 2001. So it was like 3 years.
That's true, but he didn't eat shit for a lot, you know what I mean? Before he got the
just
title.
Now he's not eating shit.
Yeah.
It's been at least 2 years.
Even before, he didn't.
I mean, he wanted to quit.
That's true. But then it was quicker. You can't can't put everything in that title.
Okay, fine.
Trying to tell you, Pasbani, don't be a mark for the title. Damn it.
We have an interview with The Rock. Michael Cole interviews him. He asks, how does it feel that Vince and Road Dogg have been attacked backstage? Rock smugly says he hates when that happens. And then does a quick promo. He's not really doing like the 5-minute sing-along, blah, blah, blah. He says he's ready for Taker, and he's ready to win the title back if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Bing, bang, boom. Hardcore Holly comes out. He gets mic time. What a country. Canada gives everyone mic time.
What a country.
He says, Benoit, this could have been so easy. You could have just given me a title shot, but instead you gave it to Angle, you gave it to Venis, and you gave plenty to Jericho. It's okay. I know you're scared of me. You're a typical Canadian. Boo. This is when the crowd turned on him.
Yeah.
I know you're a coward, and it's going to be my pleasure to kick your ass in this worthless country, and I'll get the championship. Big boos. This is a great, actually, this was needed since these guys are positioned as heels. So you needed Holly to come out there to indicate to the crowd that for this match, Chris Benoit is the face. He's the home country guy.
Yeah.
Benoit comes out and he gets some mic time. Very rare, especially at this moment. He says, you're running your mouth tonight. You think that makes you a better man? You insult me and my country? That gets a pop. If you tried to get my attention, you got it. Now you can tell the whole world how you made your biggest mistake. Immediately a US sucks chant. Love it.
Good stuff.
This is a stiff match. These guys.
How can it not be?
Fucked each other up. Meltzer wrote in his column, he's like, these guys were so stiff with each other, it was like an actual fight. Actually, I don't think they would be this stiff in an actual fight. Very, very, a lot of potatoes being thrown around. Holly eventually grabs a chair, runs out of patience, and tries to hit Benoit with it, but Jericho runs out, grabs the chair, steals it, and smacks Holly with it, giving him a taste of his own medicine from what he's been doing the last 2 weeks. It's a DQ finish. Jericho and Benoit start arguing. Holly tries to grab the chair and swing it back at them and misses. Then Benoit gets a swing at Holly. Not a good night for Hardcore Holly, but a good night for the Canadians.
Yes.
Guess you're kind of setting up like a 3-way or perhaps a fatal 4-way with Venis. So we'll see as the weeks progress.
There you go. Now you're thinking like, that's exactly...
That's exactly how the booking committee thinks.
Yeah,
we could
absolutely.
do a 3-way. We could do a 4-way.
Could do this, could do that, could do this, could do that. It's going to be this. What does Vince say? This. We're going towards this. We love this. Everyone loves this. Oh, he hates it. Oh, it's changed.
We have an interview with Undertaker, basically a mirror of the Rock interview. And he's asked about the attacks. And Undertaker says, sounds like the McMahons pissed somebody off. I like The Rock, but a man's got to do what a man's got to do. So I like that both Rock and Taker show respect to each other, but they say that their ultimate goal requires them to take the other guy out because he's in the way. Great booking here. And honestly, like as I'm watching this, modern day 2025 Rob is looking forward to this match. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? Looking forward to a match that doesn't happen yet, but it's fine. The McMahon-Helmsley regime is talking backstage. Vince was asking where was Briscoe, and Briscoe says, "Oh, do you need any coffee?" And he says, "No, Patterson's getting it." And there's such an offhanded line, but it actually plays into the story later on. And then Vince says they're going to put the icing on the cake tonight with Rock and Undertaker, implying there's going to be some shenanigans.
I remember pitching some kind of bummed out. I think if it didn't go there. Briscoe's like, I think it's that Joe C. We better check. Has anyone seen where he was? And like, shut up. Who've been attacking people. So
I see. I like that. We have another King of the Ring qualifying match yet again in the death spot. The what is it? Q7 spot. The 7th quarter hour.
Yeah.
The 10:30 to 10:45 spot.
The cool spot. The cold spot.
What is it called?
Let's call it the cold spot.
The cold spot.
That's what it should be called.
I think so. Because if you think about it psychologically, we're deep into the show. The crowd is getting a little tired, but also they've been hyped up for this main event the whole time. And the only thing standing between them and the main event is this cold spot. So these wrestlers are in a real tough position because the crowd is sort of ready to go home, but they don't want to go home until they see the main event. And then they got to watch you guys wrestle.
That's why I was always perfect for the Godfather.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Just like, well, what are we going to, look, hose. Woo.
Right. Well, Godfather wasn't out for this one.
Yeah.
Bull Buchanan with the Boss Man versus Steve Blackman with Al Snow in his corner. So kind of a repeat of the SmackDown segment, except Blackman is filling in for Snow. The crowd cared so much about this match that they started chanting, "We want puppies." And I actually looked it up in the Observer, and the reason they're chanting that, he writes, some of the biggest pops during the show, this is Meltzer, some of the biggest pops during the TV show, which appeared to be for wrestling matches, were actually because during the show at various times, roughly 8 different women took their tops off. That's why it seemed like there was a great crowd reaction during the Blackman versus Buchanan match. So the crowd isn't even watching this match. They're watching puppies.
Hey, shit happens.
Also, what a crazy phenomenon during this era of wrestling. It's, I guess, a holdover from the DX moment like a year or two ago where I assume WWE planted attractive models in the crowd and then like Hunter would point to them and be like, "Oh, like flash us," and then they would. And as a kid, I was just like, "Oh my, that's crazy. That's crazy."
Yeah.
Woo.
Then it takes on
So
a
now
life of
people
its
are actually
own.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like yawning. And I remember as a kid being bored and go to church, and I was like probably in 4th grade, and like, oh, if you yawn or you cough, you can cause a chain reaction. So I'd like, you'd look at people around, you would just start yawning and be like, same thing. People that would not be inclined to show their breasts if someone else is doing it. Yeah. It would start its own chain reaction. So it was one of those nights. One of those nights.
Blackman went for a top rope move, missed. Buchanan hit a scissor kick, gets a clean win. It's
Why
like
not?
You retroactively heard my smart mark complaints from the SmackDown match where Bossman unnecessarily did the nightstick thing, and you were like, "Oh, let's just give him a clean." I was as a smart mark, I felt so catered to with this win. But then there was also another smart mark person. He's like, he just wins like that, clean.
yeah. There you go.
I can't be appeased.
You deserve that.
But I did like the exchange at the end of the match. Bossman comes in again, attacks everyone with the nightstick, but Blackman, he's an expert martial artist, so he fights the nightstick away from Bossman and he steals it. Good little wrinkle in this storyline. Backstage, Patterson's walking around with a bunch of cups of coffee. No lids on the coffee. I'm already laughing because it's gonna you're like, well, and someone off camera asks him how he feels about Briscoe being the hardcore champion. I have to say, you've kind of, once Briscoe won this title, you've really minimized the hardcore title a little bit on the show. I guess you're stretching until King of the Ring because you want to set up this 5-star evening gown match that you're booking, but. This is like the first mention of it in a little bit. And then as he's responding, burying Briscoe, a door opens and he gets pulled in and Patterson just is the best. Coffee goes everywhere. I loved it. I was really into it. And this is good. Who is this person attacking? I love mysteries like this where you're not beating everyone over the head with it, and it's like you don't give the crowd enough time to fantasy book where it gets a little out of hand who they expect, and then they get disappointed. So this was really good.
And then even talking about that before, there was always pitching someone should attack, try to keep the 24/7 thing alive. Someone should try to attack Briscoe, but Briscoe's part of the regime, so something happens where he's protected. But then you start laying out the show and being like, well, if there's a mystery person attacking, that kind of diminishes more backstage attack. So there's reasons as you sometimes go, there's things, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. You know what? There's too much of that. No, cut that out. So
interesting. That makes total sense why the hardcore title wasn't featured on the show, because it's taking away from the main storyline. That makes perfect sense. Then we have backstage, Edge and Christian stuff Josie in a garbage can. They're dragging him by his armpits. His feet are dangling. They open up a trash can, put him in. He fits right in. They close the lid. Great editing here because you don't even really notice the cut. Christian grabs a chair and then they beat the shit out of this trash can and throw it against the wall. And you think Josie's still in there. Obviously he's not. And it looked great. And this is a great way for Edge and Christian to get some heel heat back after losing the titles.
Sure.
Then we have the main event. It's main event time, folks. Undertaker against The Rock. Vince McMahon comes out immediately. He asks, which one of you attacked? It was you, Rock, wasn't it? He says, no. Then it was you, Undertaker. No. They both deny it. To your point, the crowd starts chanting Austin.
Yeah.
They think it's him. And since nobody fesses up to it, Vince announces that tonight it will be a lumberjack match. And basically all the heels that have been on the show come out. The Regime, T&A, Bossman and Buchanan, they all surround the ring. And the bell, I'm not even sure if the bell rings, but Rock and Undertaker are looking at each other. They say a few words, and then they decide, we're not wrestling each other. We're going to kick everyone's ass. And the crowd lost it. The crowd loved this.
Yeah.
This was exactly what they want. It's so interesting how this is like not that different than WCW Nitro ending, with the NWO piling in or whatever. But because it's kind of reversed where the faces instigate it, it's different and the crowd loves it, as opposed to with NWO thing. It's like, oh, this again, I didn't like, even though I wanted to see this main event and you're not giving it to me, this was so exciting. And there was such smoke and mirrors that you don't even realize you're not getting what you wanted.
Well, I think you made an important point. It's not so much the makeup of it. It's kind of like keeping it fresh. In other words, you could do this same thing a couple times in a row and be like, oh, not that again. You know what I mean? It's always like trying to tweak something where like there's nothing really fresh about it, but there's a little
we
nuance.
talked in like when we were, sorry to interrupt, but like in January of this year, you did an ending like this, like 3 or 4 shows in a row. And it's like, it's getting a little repetitive, but like, since you stopped, you took a break, it seems fresh again.
It seems fresh. And then when you really look at all the elements, it's also like, oh, it's Undertaker and The Rock back to back facing, you know what I mean? That's not just like whatever again. That's, super intriguing. And also I think an important thing too was like, sometimes a lumberjack match when it's laid out in the beginning. Okay. But that it was so impromptu, it's now. And just
good point. I didn't have a moment to roll my eyes. If it was announced at the beginning, I would have been on your ass like another gimmick. Come on.
And then you get that feeling of everyone like, oh, they wanted to go home, but they had to stick around or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, it kind of it certainly helps, and it's like, and it's one right now.
What I love is Rock and Undertaker go out of the ring and start attacking everyone. There's like a good 3 minutes where they're holding their own. They managed to like low blow Triple H, beat a few people up. Like, it's looking good. The crowd is hyped. The crowd is hot. And then whatever, something happens and they lose the advantage. Now they're getting piled on, which of course it's like 20-1 or whatever, or 20-2. They're getting piled on. The crowd is like, who's going to come out? Like, this is my favorite thing because as a wrestling fan, you know, like, oh, someone's coming out. Someone's the excitement of the trope. And what better way for him to return than just the fire burn explosion? And it's like, oh shit, I didn't even think about Kane.
Yeah.
Like, he's been off TV for a few weeks. You haven't really referenced him. I don't know where Paul Bearer is, but perfect return. And like, it immediately makes the Undertaker's return even cooler because now you're teasing, oh shit, the Brothers of Destruction. Yeah. They're aligned. They're on the same side. They could be a team again, but it's like this new Undertaker. And like, I remember being so hyped for them to team again at this moment. Like, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then knowing that like that was going to be the end is like nothing else mattered. Even if like saying like it was good that it was a lumberjack match called late, but it kind of like, what if that would have been fucked up? None of it matters. That moment's going to just be explosive, and even down to the fundamentals of the goddamn just entrance alone, is like so
good
every time, it's just like,
and like genuinely scary in the arena. Like, you could not be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, very good. Kane absolutely.
It was a 5-star moment, certainly.
5-star moment for sure. Kane cleans house. Big choke slam to Triple H. Everyone abandons Triple H in the ring. So it's Triple H down, Undertaker and Rock and Kane standing tall. Kane grabs the world title, raises it over his head. The fire explodes again. And Undertaker and Rock are like looking like, oh, what the fuck's this guy doing? It's my belt, like what the fuck? So you're almost teasing a fatal 4-way here. It could be a fatal 4-way, could be something else. I don't know. But it seems like you've now established 3 legitimate contenders for Triple H. So
absolutely,
this is a good piece of business, as you would say.
And then even thinking of like, ooh, the fatal 4-way, that might be a perfect thing for, like I said, you want the guy who's always chasing it, but it might be good for, oh, Triple H is just the kind of weirdo to somehow squirrel away with it because there's the three guys are at a disadvantage because they're so equally matched and huge and they want it. So it's a good thing for like, and the heel can squirrel away with it. You know, it doesn't make the other three look weak. It makes them like, oh, they're in a weird predicament of, you know.
Right. Like The Rock doesn't have to eat a pin or whatever.
Yeah. Or think of it in sports when like, oh, the playoffs and like hockey sometimes are two teams are so good. They beat each other up so bad that like by the time it gets to the championship, the weaker team can win because like, oh, they had to go through the West Conference and it was so tough. You know, there's all those kind of like fun little elements in there to keep the, to keep the championship on the heel, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for SmackDown now. I want to see what the follow-up is here and how do Rock and how do Undertaker react to this? You know, like they could be pissed. They should be pissed.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they? Like Kane cost him. Well, I guess he didn't cost him anything, but like
no, yeah.
He's getting in the way.
You know, it's the usual.
Yeah.
I respect you, but if you step in the way of me getting the title, then is blah, 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 blah. Same, yeah. Like we want to do the same damn thing over and over, but make it seem like it's fresh.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this recap. And as always, we'd love your feedback. tftattitudeera@gmail.com. You can give us an email. We're going to do Q&A episodes soon.
Yeah. Especially you Canadian weirdos, you inferior Canadian wrestling fans.
We're on the road to King of the Ring. We have a good SmackDown coming up next week. I read the results already. They look good. So stick around with us, and we'll catch you next week on Tales from the Attitude Era.